And hello to all friends, potatoes are with you. This is the 7th part of the Botany Fashion Guide for version 1.16.5, but before you start watching, be sure to subscribe to me and click on the bell so as not to miss new videos. And now let's look at the functional flora section. Here, we have quite a lot of different interesting flowers. The first is delay modulation. What is described here is that if we put some kind of flower, let's assume an endoplamen on ordinary land, that is, on turf, then on the podzol and also on the mycelium. Let's do it, and now look at what priorities they will have. If we throw coal now, then the first flower that will take it away will be a flower that is just above the ground. We throw it now to absorb this flower. So for some reason, he doesn't want to do it. Let's tie them all to this mana distributor now. That's it, and now we throw coal. He was absorbed by this flower, now we throw the next coal, and must absorb, which is on the podzol. And that's exactly what he's doing. And the last flower it will be that is on the mycelium. In general, this is the whole point. Next, let's look at the reduction of some flowers. Not all of them, because we describe them here in the reduction of flowers. Here it will be possible to bugle. Here is such a collar, and the following flowers. I think there are only 8 of them here. They can be reduced. What will it give? This will give them the fact that they will simply have a smaller radius of work. In some cases, this will be useful. How to do it? To do this, you will need such an alchemical catalyst, then a pool of mana, and also a flower that we want to reduce. First, we put an alchemical catalyst. We put a thing filled with a pool of mana or any other over it. And now we just throw a bugle here, one of the flowers that can be reduced. We throw it here and get a little bugle. That's how it looks, and that's how big bugle is. His radius of work will simply be smaller. But then we turn to the consideration of all functioning flowers. The first one is bergamot. Let's put a pool of mana on this flower. Tie it here. Everything is perfectly tied up with us. And now what should this flower do? It will just drown out all the sounds that will be made. Let's say we remember a zombie, and for some reason, I can hear sounds, although he should completely jam them. Maybe it's a tank. Let's try to put it on again. Maybe we'll get better after all. No, for some reason it doesn't work. Although in fact, he had muffled the sounds before, and even now it is written in the book that he should drown them all out. But on this version, for some reason, it is so buggy. The next flower is labellio. Let's take her as well. Take a pool of mana for her, pigs, and also fight tags. Why tags? Because look, if we put a mana basin now, we will tie this flower to it now, and sleep next to some pig. Let's say let's even have 2, and throw 2 tags here. Now look, these tags will bind to the nearest creatures or objects. Let's say now the tag is attached to a pig, and the second tag is also attached to the second pig. This is considered to be such an automatic naming system. The same thing will happen with objects if you really throw them here. The next flower is called agrigvozdica. We take it, a pool, seeds, and also a hull. Look, we're going to put a swimming pool for agrologistics now. And what will she do? It will simply accelerate the growth of any plants. Let's say we plant wheat seeds here now, and if we wait a little bit, we will see some effects that will be above the wheat. It's like bone meal effectors. Here you can see. Look, it kind of transforms mana into bone meal, let's say, and puts it on the nearest plant, which accelerates their growth. The next flower is called bugle. It will work for us also naturally for mana, and let's check it out. I've already experienced it behind the scenes right here. Let's change the situation. Let's say somewhere over there. Look pretty deep. And what will he do? As we can understand because of the name, it is something related to a bubble. That is, bugle is just the same. Let's put here an eternally filled pool of mana, and next to it, this bugle. And he's going to get a little carried away. But let's put, let's say, an eternally filled pool of mana here, and a bugle here, and watch what happens. He generally has to take down all this water, but we just can't put it properly. Let's go somewhere, I don't know him. So where to put it, I don't even know. Maybe here. Look, here we have just the same place. And finally we did it. He just creates such a dome from the air under the water, and he will maintain it while manam enters it. If we break this bacillum now, then now all this will stop when it runs out of mana. Right now he's going to end up like this a little bit. Let's break it down in general, and here the water is being restored again. The next flower is the wine lotus. We also take him naturally a washing up, an enderman, and also a bow. Why are they interesting? But because this lotus will, so to speak, steal a teleport from an enderman or some other creatures that will teleport, and teleports only to themselves. That is, look, now we're going to shoot at this enderman. He generally has to go somewhere far away, but in this case, his teleportation is intercepted, and he is teleported directly to this Vina Lotusev. That's how it works. Cool. The next flower is called a collar. We take him, a drink for him, and another chest. Let's put a power supply, a gate, and what will it do? He will pick up absolutely all items in his radius of work. Look, let's put a chest next to him now, so that he just puts it all in it. And it has also several modes. We are making a functional mode for our staff with a forest, and now we are poking the deshif of the sec. See here, it is written to select only framed items without frames and also any items. Let's throw it here, let's say in the chest, and now it will have to disappear. So we're just waiting for it, and now he's gone. And where did he move to? And it moves directly into the chest that is next to it. Here is such a magical big funnel, let's say. The next flower is called Gyositis. We take him, give him a drink, and let him be a peasant, just like our test subject. We'll put it up and spawn the inhabitants. And look at it. The effect of poisoning is immediately superimposed on it. This is exactly the same function of this flower. He will simply impose endless poisoning on all creatures, for the sake of all work. However, he will spend a little mana. The next flower is called Clay Narcissus. This is a very interesting name. Why was it called that? Because he will turn all the sand in his radius of work into clay. Look, we had sand here, that turns into one clay. In this way, you can become it somewhere in the desert, and create a lot of clay for yourself there. Then move it somewhere, and so absorb the whole desert, turn it into clay. But, either come up with something else. Let's assume that sand comes here endlessly. Somehow it is generated there, and then processed into clay so quickly. The next flower is called Julio. We take him, feed him, and also the peasant. This flower will repel absolutely all living beings except humans from itself. Look here, we are now going to remember the peasant, and he will just fly away like that, because this flower simply does not allow him to come here. And the radius of work is how much here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks somewhere. And no, 7 blocks. And now a resident wants to come here, and he just does not give this flower to do anything. The next flower is called the Ring of Errors. We take him, feed him, and also, again, a peasant as a test subject. Let's put a pool, immediately ring here, and what will he do? Let's remember the peasant, and look at literally how many blows he deals for damage to him. That is, out of 5 blows, he kills this peasant, and it will also be with all other living beings except humans. Here, even the residents simply do not have time to escape from here. They do not know where to run, just and do. Although this one managed to escape. The next flower is called the Exhausted Amaranth, and this is actually a very cool flower, because let's put a pool and this flower now. See what happens. In the radius of his work, he will simply remember random flowers of various colors, mystical flowers. That is, with the help of it, you can make yourself such an automatic flower farm, which will allow you to count, and that endlessly create other flowers. The next flower is called Blue Tulip. We take him and take him a drink. Let's put it on now, and see what happens. He will get to the surface of all the underground creatures, that is, who are there. Let's say, some zombies are walking in caves there, so he teleports them here, and now you can kill them. So you can even make some kind of fun mold. The next flower is called Metamorphosis. We will remove it, wash it down, and also the stone. After all, he will transform the stone into various metamorphic forms. Let's take a look at it now. And even now, we can hear that some blocks are changing. These are changing blocks that are located underground. That is, we have a stone there, and let's say now, we have such a metamorphic stone here. Then we have such a one here. It's a mushroom. By the way, we will be performed mainly by such metamorphic stones in which we are in the biome. That is, now we are in a meadow, and basically such a meadow will be performed. But let's take a look at everything. Let's say we put it right here on the surface. Here we have everything meadow. Others can also be executed. Let's say now we also have desert, swamp, and similar stones. You can use these stones in crafting. Let's say here are such pharmacists. And what is it for? Just for beauty. The next flower is called Metamon. This flower is very useful, because if any mob other than a person appears here, they simply will not move. Look, there are a lot of residents here. They can't do anything. We can only push them, and that's about it. It will also happen with creepers, with all sorts of spiders, and even perhaps by the way with bosses. But I'm not responsible for the bosses, because I don't know for sure. The next flower that we have even considered is Heisei's Dream. Look, this flower will just make all mobs aggressive. They will even bludgeon each other. Look, let's say 2 spiders, they usually don't beat each other, they are still normally related, but in this case this flower agitates them, and they will just kill each other. The next flower is called a Fiery Rune flower. This is something like a regular runicolor, which we will also consider further, but it will only work in hell. Let's move there now and take a look. And here, I have already put even 3 of these flowers, and a lot of Nazarick. Now you can hear such small explosions or knocks. It's unclear what it is, but in fact, it's just these native flowers that start working, and turn the whole cancer into useful items, namely ores. In this case, it's not quartz. Here you can see even now right before our eyes, something is happening there, and this Nazarick is changing. Even now we could see it. The next flower is called the Fallen Canadian, or Canada, right how correctly. But let's take it, in general, put a pool, and put this flower. And now we see that it overlaps with us. Regeneration 3, which is very cool. You can literally run up to him like that, and heal very, very quickly. Then, there is a flower called polydisiac. We will put a pool, this flower, and we will remember 2 pigs. Now we throw carrots here, and look, this flower will just automatically feed these pigs. So he fed them, and now they have a little pig kept. It will also happen with chickens, cows, and the like. Then there is a flower called puta-berry. And this flower, consider that it will perform the function of such a beater, which will hold only animals, but not a person. Let's say pigs. Let's hit one of them now. She's going to run, and now she's going to hit one of the barriers. Come on, it's unclear now. And now look, she's right up against it. It's obvious how she pushes back. The radius of work is approximately what? Let's do the math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 probably blocks somewhere. In general, a pretty good barrier, like a flower. Then, there is such a very interesting flower in its work, called ranuncarpus. Let's put it under it now. Right under it I'll put, let's say, oak planks. It doesn't matter what it will be, although it is important to you, but for understanding it is not important. Here in general, we remember, there will be an oak board here, and now let's put here. Let's say this is the wall. I don't know what it is. A fence is such a small one made of oak boards. Now we throw a stone at it, just let's say a stone. We can generally use any other blocks. And watch what happens. He puts the stone exactly on the boards, because there is a board under it. If we put a stone here, and throw oak planks here again, then he will put oak planks on the stone. Let's take a look at this. And now he's installing them. In general, this is how this flower works. The next flower is called an ore flower. We have already considered the fiery one. Now let's consider the ordinary one. I will put it up, and also let's assume such a wall with a stone here. Now, he will transform all this stone into various ores. The most common will be iron, coal, and the rarest are emeralds, diamonds, and the like. Well, look here, we have coal here now. Let's put more flowers. Let's put more flowers and also a stone, and look here, we have coal here now, coal for everyone. Will we have a diamond now or not? Now with iron. Yes. We have mostly coal and iron here, of course. The next flower is called a magnolio. This flower will completely block the work of the ring with magnetism. What is a ring of magnetism? We will be able to put on our rings, and then all the objects that we will have, in the form of a drop, will be attracted to us. But now if we put this flower, then this ring will not work in any way. Here you can see nothing is rising. By the way, this flower, which we have just reviewed, does not require mono. The next flower is called spicrantium. Let's take him, and his work, by the way, is very interesting, because let's put him up now, and just look. We switch to the binding mode, poke the shifter plus the PCM, and now we bind it. Let's say it's somewhere here. But we did it, although I don't know if it's not far. Let's take a little closer, let's say here. That's fine. Now we throw one iron ingot at him, let's say, and now we'll see what happens. He has to teleport it, and now he's moving here. Let's look at it again. Throw here so many iron ingots and, yes, here they are teleported. The radius of its operation is 12 blocks. The next flower is called a scary thorn. It's like a ringing spike, or whatever it was called, but the work is a little bit different. Let's put it on, and let's remember the cow. Look, the cow is dying, but the little calf is not dying. That is, he will kill only adults, and when our little calf grows up to a cow, then he will also die. The next flower is called tiger's eye, and this flower will work about the same as cats, but it will impose this effect on you. Look, I remembered now I'm going to go into survival mode as a creeper, and he's just running away from us. I'll remember another creeper, and he doesn't even want to explode, and immediately runs away, and quite far away. The penultimate flower is called stupidly Miller, and with it you will be able to move various objects. And let's look at it carefully. It will blow in one of our directions. In this case, it blows in my opinion in that direction. Look, there are flying such very inconspicuous specks of dust, some gas accumulations, or what is it? In general, the wind flows. Let's throw a shot here now. And here you can see that it is moving, and as far as 10 blocks so exactly. How can we deploy it? We just make ourselves a functional mode, and poke the shifter out of the PCM. Thus, we have it changing its direction already there. We throw a shot here, and here it blows there. And so we can twist it in all 4 directions. And the last functioning flower is an exoplam. He will also need a power supply, and we will consider him on the example of a stove. I'll put it on, and put the stove on. I'll put iron ore in the stove, and let's see where we get the same fuel from. And our fuel is taken simply from mana. This flower will distribute this fuel, which it will process from mana into fuel, around itself in the stove. That is, look again, there is no fuel here, and everything works fine here. We can also put other stoves and load them too. Here's the iron, and here's the iron. All the stoves are working quietly. Well, there was a potato with you. Be sure to subscribe, like, write comments, and also click on the bell so as not to miss new videos.